Heidi ho, my peeps. I just wanted to show you what reality is in California right now in terms of dry weather. Look, whoa, I'm dropping my glasses. Look at how dry my hair is. It doesn't matter how much conditioner I put in it, it's just freaking dry. I have to do that thing where it's called co-washing. You wash in conditioner instead of in shampoo, which I haven't done in a couple of days. So I'm playing with fire by not washing and conditioning my hair every day, or at least conditioning it every day. But look at this. Isn't this horrible? And it's not like, oh, well, I can cut off this much and it'll be fine. No, it is dry all the way to the roots. So I'm just really having trouble. So I was sitting on my recliner. Grant had just brought me coffee. I was talking on the phone, trying to brush my hair, doing all this stuff, and I knocked over my coffee, so it took me about 20 minutes to get that cleaned up. And I thought, I need to just slow my roll a little bit. I'm trying to do way too many things at once. So I thought I would come talk to you. It always makes me feel better to sit and talk to you. Okay, let's see. Well, let me put my hair up and we'll talk. Okay, so today is Wednesday morning, and I have my dear and beloved friend Abigail coming to spend about close to a week with me. She's gonna show up tomorrow and go home on the 20th. So we are going to have some fun working in the store. She's coming a day before we actually have before my tenants move out, and then if they leave early enough in the day on Friday, we'll start moving stuff on Friday. If they leave late, well, we'll get a good night's sleep and get up early on Saturday morning and start moving. So we've got a lot of stuff to move over, a lot of lists to make. Today I go back to the bank to talk to them about the point of purchase solution, getting the cash register in there, all of that. They have a third-party service they work with, and I don't know of any other third-party services that I could work with, so I think I'm just going to go through the bank, just make it easy. So anyway, Abigail's visit's going to be wonderful. She's quite a crafter too. She's particularly adept at sewing. Although she makes all kinds of crafty stuff. What's that? Needle felting. She makes the most adorable little needle felted animals, that sort of thing. So, we're going to paint and talk and drink too much coffee and just have a really, really nice time. So I'm so looking forward to it. But I also wanted to show you my latest bouquet of wonderfulness. Wait, look! These are all tote bags. I've done a dozen of them, and I'm just thrilled that I got this project done and I brought it in on time, and I love it. So I'm just going to show you real quickly. I ended up making the modified version of this, which includes a strap if you want to make it a crossbody. And then I made several that are just as it was shown on the tutorial, where you can't turn it into a crossbody. You just hold on to it by this thing. Now, gosh, how do I show you? I'm buried. Okay, well, I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, so I did two of everything. So I did this wonderful Laura Ashley print. I thought this was real pretty. And I've got the corners boxed up on the outside with little buttons. I think that's real cute. Now this is one that isn't convertible, and you can tell because when you pull the handle thing back, it's sewn together. And again, this is how they showed it in the tutorial. So I made a few like that, in part because they're a lot less expensive to make. They take a lot less time and fiddling. So I figured I'll have two different price points on these. One is a convertible, one will be a convertible, and the other will be, just as you see it there. Now here is a convertible. And you know it because it's got the button and buttonhole on the inside. Boy, I hope I don't knock that over. Button in the buttonhole on the inside, and it has on the inside of the bag, it's got the strap to turn it into a crossbody. So those will have to be a little bit more expensive. And I did two in this lovely Laura Ashley print. So I had a bunch of Laura Ashley stuff left over from years ago. And the third I did in a Laura Ashley print is this style here, this color. Basically, they're all the same bag, just some are modified for crossbody. I did 2 or 3 I think I did 2 in this lovely floral, and everything was done in florals. I wanted the display to look good, so I thought, well, I'll do all florals, just different styles. And of course, here, this one is just about everybody's favorite. I love this fabric, and luckily I have tons of this fabric. I probably have, you know, at least 8 yards of this left, so I can do lots of stuff with that. Now, let's see. Here's another print that's done in, this is a bark cloth. I've got strings all over everything. This is a bark cloth. This is the least expensive way to make this. You, instead of boxing the cover to the corners to the outside and putting buttons, you just sew them to the inside and turn them in. That's real quick, and it still gives you that kind of flat bottom if you want it. And then again, this was just sewn up here. There's no buttons. So this is the least expensive way to make these. And let's see, is there any other? Oh, here's the other print that you haven't seen yet. And again, this was done in the least expensive manner. So I'm just loving all this. And then let's go back just for reference. Oh, I have to get out from underneath. Oh wait, here's another one you haven't seen. No, you've seen this one. This is the first one I did. And this one was pretty fiddly. It took a lot of concentration, covering buttons, making this all perfect, making these little deals, all of that. It would cost more to sell this. Not that that's necessarily bad, but I thought I would concentrate on something that I could whip out fairly quickly and sell at a more moderate price. So that, I just love the covered buttons. I ran out of buttons to cover, or I would have done covered buttons on every single one of these, but ran out. So, but I think that just adds such a nice kind of high-end sort of touch to add the covered buttons. Anyway, project done. Now I need to move on to something else, and I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. In part, it's because I've got all of this important paperwork, like just bearing down on my head. I've got to get this stuff done. Things that are on time, that are time sensitive, blah, blah, blah. And I just really need to put everything aside today, pull out the paperwork, put on my business owner cap and get all that crap done today. So that's what I'm going to do. I have no idea what I'm going to make next. In fact, you know what? I'm taking suggestions. You guys know where my Pinterest board is. I've got 2 Pinterest board names. One is Cheryl Coyote, and the other is Alexis Wiseman. The Alexis Wiseman one I think is easy to find because it's got the picture of me with just my eyes showing, or just like one eye. And I've just got all kinds of stuff thrown in, the craft ideas, store inventory, that kind of thing. We've done this already. You guys have given me suggestions, looking at the board of things that you think I should do. I've done some of them, and I just I need to know what you think I should do next. And you've seen pretty much everything. You've seen the mouse traps. You've seen the handbags. You've seen a lot of little stuff. So I'm kind of thinking maybe cards. But in order to do cards, I need my big, huge rack that has shelves that are this far apart. I have a baker's rack. I acquired it somewhere. I think I spent $15 for it, and I thought that was too much money at the time, and now I am so glad I got it, because for making flat things that need to lay out flat, it's wonderful because you've got these little tiny shelves all stacked up, so you can do quite a few cards or whatever needs to be laid out flat to dry, and they're safe, and they don't take up a lot of space to dry. So I really probably ought to wait until I'm over at the store to start doing that, because when I start doing cards, I am slinging the Mod Podge. I mean, I've got Mod Podge from stem to stern. So maybe I'd better wait on that. Um, yeah, so I'm just sort of drawing a blank. There's so many different things. What do I do next? I don't know. Ah! Maybe aprons. Maybe I should kick out about a dozen aprons. So I don't know. Um, what else? What else? What else? Oh, most of you guys, most of my friends out there, you're all dealing with super cold weather. Yet here in this one little tiny corner of the country, we still have a warm, dry weather. Still warm, dry, as you saw. Uh, I shouldn't be complaining about that. I should be thrilled that we've got warm, dry weather, but I'm not, because it's so dangerous. And um, so I'm praying for rain. I really am. What else has been going on? Oh, we still don't have the freeze dryer installed. Grant's still working on the wiring for that. So when that's done and we're actually using the thing, I am definitely going to do a couple of feature videos on the freeze dryer, because that is going to be a very fun thing. Another thing I need to do one entire video on is my latest toy, which is a multimedia projector. I knew these things existed. I'd never had a reason to get one or use one. But in order to project artwork onto a sign, I mean, one of the ways that we used to do it in the olden days was you'd use a overhead projector. You'd make a transparency and use an overhead projector and, trace it. You'd project it onto your piece of wood and then trace it so you could paint it. Well, of course, now you don't do that anymore because they have these little boxes, little multimedia projectors. So Grant and I did some research and we found one on Amazon. It came in for about $100 or so. And boy, I tell you what, that thing is going to be so fun. In addition to doing artwork projection, which is the main reason I got it, I'll also be able to use it when I'm doing workshops. So, for example, I can train my camera onto my work surface so I can be talking to the group, and yet behind me they'll be able to see what my hands are doing close up, and I can do that in a real-time situation with a room full of people. So that's going to be a really helpful tool for doing workshops. Yeah, just continuing to mow mow myself a path towards the next part of my life. Another thing I'm doing, and maybe I'll get some video and insert it here because I can't really do it on my laptop, but I've got my Familari sandals on for the first time. I bought these things this past summer. I was so thrilled. Those of you who are my age will remember Familaris. They're the sandals with the bumpy bottom. Remember, we had them back in the 1970s. I had maybe 3 different pair of those when I was in high school. I loved them. I had the super high ones. I had a pair like I've got on now that were a lower sandal, and then I had the Oxford kind, shoes that laced up. Wore those suckers out, just wore them out. And then they stopped making them, of course, because they weren't in style any longer. Well, gosh darn it, if last year they didn't start making them again, and they're actually remaking some of the styles that they had back in the 70s. I bought something a little different, but yeah, it was so weird. And those of you who have been following me for a long time, you know how I have been pining for the 1970s, missing that whole high school years experience, which was hell for me in a lot of ways. I was not a happy high schooler, definitely not. But I miss the time. I miss the businesses that were open then. I miss, I know probably there's one of you out there that's actually from the area that I grew up in that I know of, but I miss Village Drug, which was this big, gorgeous drugstore. In addition to being a pharmacy, it had all of this all this giftware and cards and lots of stationery and candles, and the place smelled wonderful. Big, huge drugstores were different than like Walgreens and CVS and all that. They were more like boutiques, I guess. At least Village Drug was like a boutique. I loved that place. They had this line of stuff called the Village Bath, and they had an entire kiosk in the store with bath salts, bubble bath soaps, that kind of thing, and all these wonderful 70s scents that were so popular. Lemon, strawberry, peach, berries, different kind of berries, cinnamon, all of this stuff that was so popular back in the 70s. And they were just beautiful, and the place smelled so wonderful. So I miss that. I miss Farrell's ice cream store. That was such a fun place to go to. I miss a lot of the old restaurants that are no longer there. The old school restaurants where you'd walk in, you'd have to walk through the bar, you opened the door and went in, and then you had to stand there for a second because it was so dark you couldn't see what you were doing. Your eyes had to adjust to the fact that there was very little light, and what light there was covered in some, cheesy retro red globe, and I miss that. I miss that era so badly. So when I found these shoes, when I discovered that they were being produced again, man, I bought a pair like that, and they were not cheap. I found a place that I could buy them. I think they came from Canada. I buy a lot of shoes from Canada that are less expensive anyway, and I think I spent like $60, something like that, on these sandals. But if I had bought them from any place in like Amazon or from the Familari store, they were 120 or 130 bucks, and I spending $60 on shoes is a big deal for me. But I wasn't just buying shoes, I was buying a piece of my childhood. So I thought $60 was a deal for a piece of my childhood. So I am going to go ahead and insert a picture of my big old fat feet wearing my Familari sandals here. Here are my little Familares. I just love them. There's that rocky bottom they were so famous for. I love these. They're unlined, and I'm trying to see. My feet look like they're squished into them, right? They look like they hurt. Surprisingly, they're not. They're unlined, so I'm going to be wearing them for a little while to get them stretched out a little bit. But yeah, so man, I need a pedicure, something fierce. So anyway, I'm just loving these. They're so much fun. It's nice to be wearing something other than my Birkenstocks all the time. Okay, so now you see. Nothing special, but they made me so happy. So what else is going on? I really need to clean my house. Haven't cleaned the house in a while. The dust is really beginning to get ingrained in all the corners. So I think maybe Abigail and I might take a 3-hour block of time and dust, vacuum, all that kind of stuff, so I can get ahead of that a little bit. So much to do, so little time. And it's not just so much to do. It's so much I want to do. I'm in this like lean forward, rush through life doing all these things that I want to do, period, in my life right now. And it's really energizing, and it feels wonderful. As a matter of fact, I was telling Grant just this morning, I said, honey, I just realized something. It has been maybe a month, close to a month, since I have needed to take a leave or a tramadol. Now, let's spin back 6 months or a year. And I was worried. I was rationing out my pain medications because I was afraid of taking too much. I'm always afraid of any kind of medication, especially something that's a real draw on your kidneys or your liver. So I would have to remember, okay, when was the last time I took, a leave? Well, let's see, I took 3 I took one a day for 3 days. I better wait, another couple days before I take another one, kind of deal. And it just occurred to me, I haven't even needed it or thought about it in almost a month. So I'm still in a little bit of pain sometimes, but let's see, I'm going to show it to you. See my little machine right there, my little jiggly machine, my Zazz vibrating platform machine. When I'm in a little bit of pain, I just go stand on that or even just sit on it. I mean, it takes about 3 or 4 minutes before I notice, yeah, okay, I'm feeling good. Things aren't hurting. I'm feeling numb, and I'll hop off of that thing and, I'll be fine. So my pain level has been considerably less now, and I haven't really done anything to make that happen. I'm not eating anything differently. I haven't lost any weight, none of that. The only thing I'm doing differently is that I'm moving more, up and down out of chairs, more, doing a lot more walking when I go shopping, that kind of thing. So I think maybe moving more has been the one thing I've done differently that is probably helping. Um, Sleeping is a problem. It's not a problem because I can't sleep. I can sleep just fine. When I want to sleep, I just put my phone down, close my eyes, and I'm out. My problem with sleeping is that I don't want to sleep. I want to stay up, late into the wee hours of the morning, getting things done, bustling around. Then I want to, close my eyes for a couple hours and get back up and do it again. Well, I can't. I'm discovering I really need about 8 hours a day. So sometimes I'll sneak a little extra sleep in the afternoon. I'll sit down to maybe have lunch and watch something on, Netflix or something, and I'll be out. I'll fall asleep, and, I'll wake up and it'll be like, oh my God, I've been asleep for 2.5 hours. Okay, so that means I can stay up till 4:30 this morning because I just got my extra sleep, which is dumb. Really, I need to go to bed at a certain time, stay in bed for the 8 hours, get up and do my day. I really need to do that, and I know I do. But I don't like stealing uh, productive work time, or, or rather sleep time, away from productive work time, which that's childish of me. But I'm having so much fun that I don't want to sleep. Um, God, what else? Oh, and incidentally, I'm not on any like medication that would cause this. I don't take antidepressants. I don't take anti-anxiety medications. I'm not smoking any pot, none of that stuff. I'm not, this is not chemically induced externally. It might be biochemically induced, but this is, my excitement and my energy is coming from the choices I've been making and the things that I'm going to start doing. And so, you know, that says a lot. That says a lot about mood control, and maybe looking, the next time I'm feeling really lousy, I think I'm going to take a good hard look at my life and ask myself, what am I doing? Am I not working towards a goal? Am I not spending my days doing what I want to do as opposed to maybe what I have to do? And if I am spending my days doing what I have to do instead of what I want to do, how long is that going to go on? And can I schedule time to do things that I want to do? And all of that kind of harkens back to when my parents were ill, and I spent so much of my time at their house dealing with their stuff. First dad went down, then mom got sick, then mom went down. All of that time, I knew that there were things I couldn't do. I couldn't start a store back then. I couldn't keep up with my Etsy sales, so I closed my Etsy store. And there's so many things that I couldn't do because I was doing my duty. And I'll tell you what, I am incredibly thankful that I was able to do my duty, that I had that time in my 50s to you know, to be part of my parents, their final years and their final illnesses and all of that. I'm really glad I had the opportunity to do that. I learned a lot about myself, um, about what to look forward to. God willing, I live as long as they did. If I live into my 80s, um, it was it was a good experience all the way around. The only thing is that when you're doing that, it's very easy to lose your own way. Um, and I think the lesson here is that you need to know that while you're in the midst of doing your duty, whether it's raising your babies or having to work at a job in your 40s when you're really tired and wish you didn't have to, or taking care of your mom and dad when you get to be my age, whatever it is that you're doing that takes most of your time, you need to schedule the fun stuff. Don't put all the crafts away. Put them away and say, for 1 hour on Saturday, I'm going to make cards, or I'm going to go out and take photos of, birds, or I'm going to run, or whatever the thing it is that makes you feel like you. Schedule it in as often as you can and take advantage of respite. Take advantage of people who are willing to come sit with a baby, or um, cover your job for that Monday if you need to take that time off, or come sit with mom and dad while you do your thing. That is the thing I learned from my most recent experience. And I know you can't always do that. You don't always have the opportunity to do that. But if you can, do it. The other thing I've learned, at least for in my own life, is that the whole "this too shall pass" idea, um, caring for others, passed. Now I just physically care for myself, my husband, as much as he'll let me because he's very independent, my boys, as much as they'll let me because they're living their own lives. But that's about all. I don't have a lot of things I need to care about, like jobs and parents and all that. So that's when you turn back to yourself. That's where all of the craft supplies come back out, or you pull out all your photography equipment, or you pull out your paints, or you get involved in the activities and volunteer stuff that you have always wanted to do, whatever. That's when that happens. And that's what I'm going through right now. I'm going through that whole reinventing myself with myself as the center of my world. So that's what's going on in my little pea brain these days. So I'm still in my jammies. I'm wearing my jammy shirt that Abigail made for me when we went on our trip in 2014. And let's see if I can show you. It's pirates, right? But somewhere on my pirate shirt is mermaids. Where'd the mermaids go? Oh, there she is. There's my mermaid. I've got mermaids on the shirt and pirates on the shirt. I just love it. So anyway, I'm still in my jammies, and I believe it's time for me to stop this video, quit blathering at you, and get something done. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.